What's up, everybody? Brett here. It's Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for another dev blog for Battle Brothers. Devlog 140 New Origins, and this is something I've been looking forward to learning more about since the beginning. This is going to be one of those big things that decides whether or not there's a ton of replayability to this DLC, and whether or not the actual campaigns themselves will play out differently than the ones we've experienced in the past. So, without any further ado, guys, let's just start reading, and then we'll make our speculations as we go through. So, the upcoming Blazing Deserts DLC will introduce new Southern-themed company origins for you to pick from. This week, we're taking a closer look at what these are. Just keep in mind that things are in development, and the specifics may still change. Let's go. Alright, the Southern Mercenaries. This is the Southern variant of a new company quick start. It's well suited both for a Southern-themed playthrough and for checking out right away many of the new things found in the South. That's cool. I didn't even think about that. Like, just giving them yeah, sure, you can have my cookies. Very gross. Yeah, just take them. I just realized that's probably annoying to look at. So anyway, but yeah, the point I was trying to make is I didn't even think about the fact that it would be a good idea to make just a standard start, but just have it be a Southern start. Yeah, good call. I mean, to me, everything had to be like specifically themed. But yeah, just having a standard start, and we'll see how that really is different from the Northern start once we get our hands on the DLC. So just as with the Northern Quick Start, you'll start with 3 companions. They're Southerners, however, with Southern gear, and starting right next to one of the city-states. Where to go from here is your choice. Will you fight in the arena, work for the viziers of the city, or viziers, and travel up north? Okay. Yeah. Leaving you open to play the game however you want. And some people will probably prefer that start, depending on what type of gear or whatever. It's probably still like the same low tier stuff. You have to scrape by, start acquiring stuff yourself. They don't just give you like tier 2 stuff. The slave drivers. Ooh, okay. If you prefer to overwhelm your enemies with superior numbers, and the commander you're playing as is as ruthless enough not to mind using expendable troops, then this origin offers a fresh campaign experience. Loosely based on historic slave armies of the Middle East, you could have a company of expendable slaves that don't get paid in crowns instead of relying on expensive sellswords that you can't afford to lose. Let's see what the specifics are. As soon as I read this, I was like, oh man, there's so much you could do with this. And if they don't do what I was thinking, I'll just tell you guys what my speculation was. So you'll start with 2 slave drivers and 4 slaves. And you could take up to 16 men into battle at once. That's what I was hoping for. I was hoping the cap would be higher than the normal 12, and so it is. Winning battles against human opponents will allow you to press any survivors into fighting for you in order to bolster your ranks as you go. That's insane. And you can also just buy slaves in the city-states. They're treated harshly in your company, however, gaining experience at only half their normal rate. And never surviving with a permanent injury if struck down. Damn, those are pretty severe drawbacks. Over the course of a long campaign, however, I mean, interesting. Like, you know, half the normal experience rate does suck, but there are training halls you can go to boost that, but even still, yeah. All those who are not slaves in your company gain a unique skill called Whip Slave, which instantly resets the morale of any slave within 3 tiles range to steady and gives them the whipped status effect. With a forceful reminder to give their everything for their masters, up to and including their lives, these slaves gain substantial bonuses in combat, the exact amount of which scales with the level of the character doing the whipping. Your men expect slaves to do the heavy lifting, and if there should ever be less slaves than non-slaves in your company, the men will get dissatisfied. So you want to have 8 and 8? Is that what they're saying? 8 slaves, 8 non-slaves. Some northern backgrounds will also take offense with slavery and may not fit well with your company, lest you want to deal with it in events. That would make sense. Maybe some of the lower born people, they're like watching you whip these dudes and they're like, man, that's messed up. Wow, I can't believe they also give... So the whole idea of them like resetting morale is really good. And giving them a whip status effect, which apparently is a buff. I would have thought it might have been some sort of combat debuff, but it kind of makes sense that they would sort of frenzy and try and fight harder. Very interesting. This is unique. Rather than having a tightly knit team of experienced mercenaries, this origin promotes having a small team of slave drivers of any background you want, and a mass of expendable troops to drown the enemy in numbers and to distract them. Because slaves get substantial bonuses from being whipped into line, even a fresh slave can instantly be a valuable asset, and lost slaves can easily be replaced. Essentially, as long as you keep your non-slaves alive and level them, they can uplift slaves to their level. Wow. Should a slave happen to survive long enough to gather experience and become good on their own, that's a bonus. And you can always decide to grant a particular slave their freedom. Oh, that's so cool. Oh man, that's cool. Wow, I like that. That makes me think of, if you've ever seen the movie Gladiator, the guy who actually basically kind of has... Oh my god, now I can't. Maximus. He has Maximus, and he's like training him, and he brings him to Rome. And there's a point in the movie where he tells him his kind of story about how he won his freedom by fighting in the arena, in the Colosseum. Marcus Aurelius gives him his freedom. It's a really cool little scene. But yeah, that's going to give so much flavor to the campaigns. It's crazy. Just the idea you could have kind of like your favorite brother who's a slave, and over time, you know, he wins so many battles for you, you're just like, nah, dude, you're awesome, and you give him his freedom. That's super cool. Very flavorful. They went above and beyond with this one. This is one of the most unique. This will probably be the most unique. It's got to be, right? We haven't read the next one yet, the Gladiators, but there's a lot going on here, and it's going to really make you play differently, and I like that. Very cool. So next up, we've got the Gladiators, a different take on the popular Lone Wolf origin. This origin has you start not with a hedge knight, but with 3 experienced gladiators. Once an unbeaten team in the arena, now starting a life as mercenaries, your 3 gladiators are at the very core of your company. Sounds to me more like my barbarian Let's Play, where our 3 barbarians just crushed in the early game so hard that we were able to catapult and start hijacking early caravans and stuff. It was pretty sweet. But these dudes look like badasses. Let's see what it says. Each of your 3 gladiators comes well equipped and experienced, like a team of bare-breasted superheroes. Each one of them also brings a unique perk that aids them in combat and opens up new synergies. They're the team, and everyone else you hire is just there for support and to make them look good. Spoiled by adoring fans and an expensive lifestyle, they demand high pay right from the start, even though they will never desert you, and you cannot fire them. They will suck your coffers dry with expensive spa visits and buying jewelry that spells their name. If you don't ensure a steady cash flow. Playing this origin, you essentially have 3 lives. Should all 3 gladiators die, the company will be left without their icons and dissolve, and the campaign will end. And because this origin only ever allows you to have 12 men in your roster, okay, there's no putting them in the back line without leaving you at a disadvantage. Despite starting out with very strong characters, this origin is a challenge best suited for experienced players that know what they're doing. So very similar to, like they said, the Lone Wolf start. You can only have 12 men, which kind of sucks. I get it. I mean, they seem super strong. I would maybe like to see that go up to like 16. Make it so that, I guess what they're trying to do is make it so that you never rotate them out. And I can understand that. But here's the thing, right? If you're playing the game on anything but like Iron Man mode, and you're just playing for fun, you're not gonna like battle and kill these guys, right? It wouldn't be fun. Like, you're playing to have these 3 awesome characters and to make like stories around them. So if I lose one of these guys in battle, I'm gonna restart the battle. There's no like group of goblins or whatever that I'm gonna let kill one of my 3 awesome characters. So them, you know, being limited by who can be in the company, whatever, is not really a big deal to me. I do like the idea that they're spoiled, and you have to like feed them extra. You have to pay for them more. I'm curious to see what sort of events they'll get into. Is kind of what I was thinking. I'm sure it'll be a lot of trouble, and there'll probably be a lot of really funny stuff. The writing in Battle Brothers is always so good. That's it, though, guys. That's the 3 they've chose to show us. I don't know if they're the only 3. I feel like there's probably a couple more. I could have sworn they mentioned already some sort of Crusader type company origin, but we'll have to see. Maybe there's even some sort of like Prince origin or something. I don't know. There's so much potential, especially with the company origins. Things that you can do to really shake up hours and hours of gameplay. So, and it's such an easy thing to add compared to some of the other stuff they work on. But guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It was nice and substantive with the new Origins devlog. And look forward to next Friday, where hopefully we'll get even more content and even more stuff to speculate over and look at. But without any further ado, y'all, I'm Brett. My channel's Goodtalk Gaming. Thanks so much for watching and listening. And as always, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.